first time ever scheduling a live, and apparently I didn't do it right. So hopefully those of you who are sitting on the live I scheduled will come over here. I feel like I'm gonna vomit, I'm so nervous. So, yes, I just went live. It sometimes takes it a minute. My husband's talking to me. So for those of you watching on the replay, just hang in there just a minute. We're going to talk about everything that's going on with the flower farm. As you can see, I'm getting some stuff done behind me. Like I said, I've never done this before. So hopefully if anybody's on here, comment, let me know if you can see me okay. I don't have the best signal where I live, so I'm hoping I'm coming across fine to you. And did I mention I'm nervous? A little nervous. Hey Guy, nice to see you here. Oh, thank you, Pinky. So glad to have y'all here. So, first live, I had to make myself a list so I wouldn't forget about what all I was going to talk about for this. But I finally got majority of my daffodils in the ground, guys. We still have maybe 10 left because the drill battery died and I couldn't find my third drill battery. Looked everywhere for it, finally found it. It was on the counter under a box. So hopefully we get the last 20 or so daffodils in the ground and finally be done with the daffodils. Though I do have an order with wholesale for the small scale grower that's still supposed to come in. That's about another 200. Hey everybody, thank y'all for joining me. I was so worried. I was like, there's only gonna be 2 people maybe that actually show up to watch me live. And then I was super nervous, kind of not feeling as nervous now. Still kind of feel like I want to vomit everywhere, but we're gonna make it, right? But wholesale for the small scale. I know a few of you said y'all submitted requests to be part of that group and it's taking a while. It does take a while. It took me about a month before I got approved. So just be patient and you should be able to get approved for the group within a month or so. But it does take time and it's so worth it when you finally do get into that group. Jake, the guy who runs it, is phenomenal. And I've ordered some fancy glads from him all the way from Norway. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. And Northeast Mississippi. Nikki, I need to go to Mississippi because my laptop is in Mississippi right now. So another reason there's not a video this week, it may not be one next week, is because my Filmora subscription ran out and I decided I wanted to upgrade my editing software, bring my YouTube game up a little bit more, and I ended up having to order a whole new laptop. Mine was 5 years old and it just didn't have the software, the RAM, technical stuff that I have no clue what it is, to run the software that I wanted to get. I wanted to go to Filmora Pro or Adobe Pro, and so I had to upgrade my laptop, and now it's lost in Mississippi somewhere on FedEx. So we'll see when it gets here. Hopefully it'll be here Tuesday, which is the original shipping date. But we'll find out. I was able to talk to Serena and Ian via Instagram and ask them what they prefer to use, and they said Filmora Pro. So thankful that I was able to talk to them and get their opinion on what to do. So I'm excited to hopefully up my game for you guys and make better, more entertaining videos for you. I feel like sometimes I talk too much or it lags. So anytime y'all want to tell me that, hey Jessie, you're talking too much, tell me. Yeah, I'm terrible at it. I kind of, what caused this was I just went ahead and installed Adobe onto my computer, my laptop, thinking it would work fine, and oh no, it was a mess. It just kept crashing, and it turns out I need like 32 gigs of RAM or whatever, and my computer has 4. So that's a big difference. Yeah, big difference in laptop. Doped up on caffeine because, guys, I've been going. It's so dark when we get home now, right? As soon as you get home from work, it's just pitch black outside. So I'm having to do everything on the weekends. You can see the landscape fabric. Oh, I need a big cup of coffee, yes, to function at this point. I'm so tired. But all the landscape fabric is almost completely done being laid down. I've got yarrow in there. I've got stock, snapdragons, some ladies mantle that survived. And then that's my husband, Casey Madden's my husband, so he's talking to y'all. I've got majority of my ranunculus and anemones in the bulb bed, which turn you can kind of see the hoops. I got hoops up, but we're making it. And guys, I started about 1,000 ranunculus, and I had to throw out about half of them. It has been so rough flower-wise. Like nothing's working out. Oh, it looks like, yeah, fall chores. I thought I wouldn't be so busy in the fall. I thought I'd be chilling. I'm going nonstop. Like, can I just take a day to just sleep? But there's no time to sleep. It's getting these flowers going with my zone. I'm able to start all these crops early, which is both a curse and a blessing. You know, last year was my first year flower farming, so I didn't start anything in the fall. Not really. I didn't start anything until December, late December. And now I know better, thanks to Lisa Mason Ziegler in her book Cool Flowers. So now I'm just kind of like in panic mode, trying to get this done. It's been a blast to follow your journey. Oh, thank you so much, Pinky. I really do appreciate you guys. Y'all keep me going. Y'all really do. But yeah, the Cool Flowers book, I'm trying my best.
Slow down.
I'm talking too fast. My husband said I'm talking too fast. It's because I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I talk too fast. When I get nervous. Deep breath. Okay. So Cool Flowers by Lisa Mason Ziegler was a game changer. So now I'm in full-on panic mode, trying to get all these flowers in the ground and get all these seedlings. No, I'm not that far from the south, yeah. I'm trying to get all these seedlings started and in. I've got a refrigerator full of flower seeds. I still haven't started my Nigelia. Did I say it right? Nigelia. I still haven't started my Canterbury bells. That's a new one. I still haven't started bachelor buttons. And there's several others I'm sure that I just can't think of right now that I need to start. I haven't started, but I have them in the fridge. Larkspur. I haven't started Larkspur. We did throw out a giant thing of Larkspur out there in the backfield. Johnny's had a sale, so I bought 2 giant bags and I threw 1 giant bag out there. I'm hoping that's where the daffodils go. I'm hoping it'll be beautiful. You weren't impressed with the bachelor buttons this year? You know, I really liked my bachelor buttons, but I hated harvesting them because they were super tangly. I had planted them late November last year, not knowing they were a cool flower. I just was hoping to make something work. And they did great. I needed to put support with them. I didn't put support and they just fell down. Hello, there's a picture out there of me in my bathrobe trying to stand these bachelor buttons back up because they did flop over. But Cool Flowers, yeah, running. Ranunculus, had to throw half of them out, started 1,000, and you'll see that I didn't realize the den had heated up so much. What are Cool Flowers and did you plant successfully last year? So Cool Flowers are flowers that you can plant right now or about 6 to 8 weeks before your last frost date, and they're just going to kind of chill in their seedling, medium plant stage kind of until it's time for them to bloom in early spring. And they're going to be a lot more productive that way. Lisa Mason Ziegler has a book called Cool Flowers, and it actually lists all the cool flowers that you can grow according to your zone and when to kind of start them based on your last frost date. For the longest time, I refused to buy her book. People had talked about it, but I refused because it didn't say exact dates on when to start flowers. And then finally, I was an idiot. You're supposed to start it based on your first and last frost date. So now that I have the book, I love it. I'm going completely by it. It's my flower Bible at the moment. Her and Florette. Florette was the main one I started with, and she has a lot of good information, but all of her stuff says start things in the spring. Here in the South, I'm Zone 8B, North Louisiana, and I mean, we're upper 30s, low 40s right now. But by afternoon, it's 60 and 70s. I'm in a hoodie because it's cooling down. Speaking of hoodie, merchandise pitch. Ooh, nice hoodie, really comfortable. But by the afternoon, I'm taking it off. Hi, Lisa. Thanks for joining us. So, Cool Flowers, I'm still able to put some in the ground. It's not too late for me. We haven't had a hard frost yet. We probably won't have what they call a killing frost until January. So if I can get these plants started in the ground, Hi, Andy. Thanks for joining me. I've got time to get them in the ground, and they're going to be good, robust plants that'll be nice and early and hopefully blooming with my tulips. What is your merch with? I use Spreadshop. So Spreadshirt, I've got a link down in my video descriptions that says buy Living on a Prayer flower form or former plant killer merch. And I make basically $5 off anything that sells. But I really like the print quality of Spreadshop. Teespring, I'm too lazy to hand wash my stuff. I don't know if you are. But I found that if I didn't put it in the dryer by turning it inside out or hand washing my stuff from Teespring, the logo, the print, would deteriorate, and I didn't like that. But with Spreadshop, I'm able to wash this in the washer and dryer over and over again, and it looks really good. This has been washed like 5 times because I'm just a messy person, and it stays really good. So I highly recommend if you have a YouTube channel and you start merch, Spreadshop's a great way to do it. You don't have to buy your own t-shirts. Am I talking too fast? My husband says I'm talking too fast. You don't have to buy your own merchandise. They basically handle everything for you. They handle the returns. It's just a lot easier way to start. Take my coffee. But so cool flowers, getting them started. I think in zone 5 was the lowest zone that Lisa had in her book. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you bought the apron, that you like it. My husband bought an apron too. Looking at places and debating between them. Yeah, I did a lot of research on merchandise before I went ahead and started advertising that I had merchandise, because I really wanted to make sure it was something I could stand behind. And Spreadshop is, and I YouTubed, all the YouTube creators that do this, do that. I researched a lot, so I was really confident in going with Spreadshop, and then I ordered personally from them and tried out everything. That's where I order all my clothing that I use now for doing my farm stand and for stuff like this. Is your favorite apron? Oh, thank you. Oh, that's my husband. It better be your favorite apron. I was so excited when I sold my first merchandise to somebody who wasn't me, and it turned out to be my husband. And then I was like, well, it doesn't count because it's you. You're my husband. You're supposed to love me and buy my stuff. But now stuff is slowly starting to sell, which is good, because that laptop was a hard pill to swallow. And guys, my dog, my Labrador Costly, she tore her ACL. I didn't know a dog could do that. And it's like a $4,000 surgery. So we're about to shell out some cash for that. It's a good thing she's lovable. I think I'm going to rename her, because her name's Costly, and she truly lives up to that name. I think I'm going to name her Moneymaker. Maybe she'll bring in money instead of costing me so much money. Yeah, dogs can do that. She is the most expensive free dog I've ever had. My parents owned her originally, and they had adopted her when she was a year old from a guy, and he named her Costly. And we all hated the name. But then she ate everything on their porch, including like part of their telescope. So they kept the name Costly. And then we got her, and she ended up getting heartworms, and that was like $1,500. And then some other health issues. I'm like, you are the most expensive free dog I've ever had. It's a good thing she's so dang lovable. I think I'm gonna make her a mascot. I need to get her like a little flower hat or something to bring with me to the farmer's market, and have her be the mascot of Living on a Prayer flower farm. Praying my plants live and praying that my dog doesn't cost me any more money. I pointed out to my husband that my expensive pug, Gus, has cost us no money except for dog food and regular vet visits. Just saying. I don't know if I have a video next week for you guys. We're getting ready to go on a trip. And like I said, I really want to up my video quality for you guys. So I may start taking a little bit longer to put out videos. I don't know if it's going to be weekly or not. I will watch my own videos back after they premiere myself, because I want to make it better. I want to be better for y'all, I want it to be more, I want it to flow better. I want to be sure that I'm giving you all the tips that I can to help you learn from my mistakes. I have a pug too. Yeah, I remember you saying that, and that you can't eat the grass. You've got a pug, and your dad used to work on appliances too. Sorry, talking to Brampton Gardner. And so that's why videos may start coming out a little bit slower. And let me know what you think as I upload newer videos in a different editing style that I'm going to try and go for. Especially as I wait to have flowers again. I know the videos aren't as exciting when there's not beautiful blooms everywhere. I mean, personally, when I'm watching all these gardeners and flower farmers, I like to look for the flowers. I want to see the flowers. What were your setbacks recently? So I had to throw out about 500 of my ranunculus that I started because I didn't realize my husband had turned on the heater, because the game right now has been how long can you go with it being cold and not turning on the heater, right? So my den normally is the coldest place ever. My ranunculus did great back there last year. My husband turned on the heater. The den got hot. So all my ranunculus, I started about 1,000 of them and about a couple hundred anemones, and I didn't know it was hot back there. So they were soggy and they were hot and they molded. I had to throw out, I started like 12 trays, and I had to throw out about half of them. I lost all of my yellow, all of my pink rose ones, all of my purples, but luckily I only started about half of them. So I have more to start, but oh, that was just, after a rough week of my personal life just being rough, and then that, oh, I just cried. Because that's money, guys. That's like $2. Think about it. Every corn is about $2 to $3 flower, and they produce multiple flowers. So in my mind, I didn't know if all the trays had molded, but to me that was thousands of dollars that I just had to throw out. So if you're going to start ranunculus and start them pre-sprouted, make sure you put them in a cool, dark place. If you're up north and you have cellars, put it in the cellar, put it in the basement. You know, here we can't have that. We don't have that. I don't have an attic, and we don't have cellars. So they molded. It was devastating. I know, right? And then just trying to get this done. And then y'all saw the auger meltdown. I sat on the back of the golf cart and just cried. And my husband was like, we need to get a tractor. I'm like, I'm not buying a tractor. Not this year. Maybe next year, but definitely not this year. I've spent so much money on this farm. That's another video I'm going to eventually record for you guys, is how much money I've sunk into this. I've sunk so much money into this. But I'm really hoping that this upcoming year I'll be profitable. The tulips alone should help bump me to that. If I don't buy a tractor or a hoop house, that should bump me up to being profitable. So we'll see how it goes. I've got 4 or 5 people who have volunteered to come help me shovel out the trench, because that's one of my husband's arguments for let's get a tractor. We can dig out a trench for those tulips. But I've got a couple of people who are going to come shovel in hand. I'll feed them, and we'll get that done. Let's see, we're in New York. Oh, somebody else. So we'll get all the tulips put in, except the ones that came from Jake. I got some from Jake earlier this week. What? We need to go fund me for tractors. Well, that's what the merchandise is selling for. Sell the merchandise to pay for my dog's leg repair and for a tractor. Buy my shirts, they're $5 each. I need to sell like 10,000 of them so I can buy a tractor. I am joking. Y'all know I'm joking. But, so the 3,000 tulips I have currently in my fridge will get planted the Thanksgiving weekend. And then the tulips that just came in from Jake, which I'll do a video on that. Those will get put in at the end of December. They came in really late. I took subs, so I didn't get everything I ordered. I subbed it out for some. But I'm pretty excited. Got about 4,000 or 5,000 tulips that have to go in the ground this year. I've been talking to some local florists who are very interested in working with me and buying some of my flowers. because honestly, I think I've upped my game so much. I don't know if I have enough customer base for the farmer's market in Ruston, and I've gotten kind of lazy. I don't want to drive around anymore. I don't want to make deliveries before work, during lunch, and after work. If I don't have to. I mean, they can come to my house and buy the daffodils if I'm like 20 minutes out of town. But if I can work with florists and sell to florists, that would be great. So I'm talking to a few of them. They're excited about the farm and being able to buy locally. And I'm working on educating my community on the fact that about 80% of our flowers ship from overseas, and that right now there's a flower movement, and I'm so happy to be part of that flower movement. It's exciting. Still waiting for your 1500? Yeah, mine just arrived. I think Thursday, Kim, is when my tulips arrived from Jake. And like I said, I took the subs. I don't know if you subbed out or not, but it took a while. I still haven't gotten my daffodils either, or invoiced for them. But you know, the poor guy, he's doing his best. It's so expensive. Yes, flower farming is expensive for real. I thought it would be cheap. I just thought I'd buy some seeds, sow them out there. Y'all, I could have went to Disney so many times. Have I considered Hydrania's Limelight Silver Dollar for my flower farm? So I do have one Limelight Hydrania. It's the first hydrania I've ever gotten to live in my life. I've bought maybe 10 hydrangeas in my lifetime, and they all die. Y'all, former plant killer is not just a saying, it is a fact. I have killed so many plants. I don't know if y'all watched the Porch of Death video that I did.
We need an update.
I'm not giving them an update. I'm about to tell them an update. All those plants died. I never watered them, so they all died. It's just Porch of Death again, and I'm not even going to buy new flowers to put up there. But I would love hydrangeas and eucalyptus. I'm thinking about starting a few more eucalyptus because apparently they can beat a tree here. So I may start a few more and maybe plant them somewhere where I wouldn't mind having a tree. But the Limelight Hydranias, the issue is in my zone, it's so hot, I would need shade. And I don't have a good shady place. And I'm still kind of figuring out where I want everything. Write down a guide with pictures on how you can... Oh, that would be great. Thank you, Pinky. That would be great. So I'm still kind of figuring out where I want everything in the farm. So that's a reason why I don't have peonies. Most of you will notice I don't have peonies, and I'm still not growing any peonies because they take 3 years before you get flowers. So I kind of feel like when I buy something like that, or a hydrangea, those perennials, I need to know where they're going forever. And I'm still expanding. I'm still figuring things out. So I really don't want to buy anything permanent just yet. But my Limelight Hydrania, I did learn a very valuable lesson on that. They need lots of water. I think it's dead. I'm not sure if it's dead. It's got blooms on it. It started blooming randomly. I'm not sure why. I'm looking at it. That's what I'm looking off. It's by my porch, in front of my porch, and it was beautiful when it's blooming. But it's supposed to stay green. Did you know it's supposed to turn green, stay green, and then turn like a pretty red or pinkish at the end of the fall? I didn't know that. Mine always just turns brown. It's because I don't water it. You need to water the plants. Apparently, I just need everything on drip tape or an irrigation system consistently because I don't water it if it's not already on drip tape. I've got issues with watering plants. I need something that can survive. I guess I'm kind of like Serena in that point where if it really needs a lot of water, probably want me to grow it because it's gonna die. So it would be pretty if it ever lived and didn't turn brown. Hello. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Mulch is your friend. Yes. See, that's just another expense. I'm just struggling so much with expense. Oh, another thing that went wrong that you'll see is I ordered mushroom compost. I remember talking about that in a video. ordered fancy mushroom river sand compost out of Shreveport, which is about an hour away. That was the closest place I could really find that had compost that would deliver by dump truck load instead of having to buy it by the bag. They delivered it all right, with concrete slab broken up all of it. I'm talking huge chunks of rock.
They can walk it over there and show them. They're waiting for a video.
It's going to be in a video, you'll see. But I called the owner, and he didn't handle it the best way, but he ended up bringing me a fresh load, and I kept the original load anyway. I figured I could try to use part of it, and we spread it out, some of it, before we realized the majority of the compost was rock. The fresh load was great. It was good compost. It was even darker. But the first load he brought out, it was nothing but rocks. So we spent a weekend picking up rocks. And I still have where my zinnias go is still not done because it's big, huge concrete slabs. It's just been kind of like anything that can go wrong is going wrong at this point. And I'm just trying to roll with the punches and keep my head up and just stay positive and learn from it. Ranunculus, learned a lesson. Compost. Going to order from somewhere else next time. I found a guy from a nursery that's down the road. His compost is way more expensive. It's cotton gin leftover compost. But he was super nice, told me come get a bucket of it if I wanted to try it out. I think I'm going to call him because cotton gin compost, try saying that 5 times fast, is rich in nitrogen. So that's really good for my sunflowers. So I'm going to put that in the back area where the sunflowers are. Yeah, roll with the punches. That's what I'm trying to do, but I feel like my face is starting to turn purple from the punches and where life is hitting me. Like, Jesus, I've had enough. Can you please just stop for a little bit? I have been humbled. I've been humbled. Please stop punching me in the face. It's going to get done though. And come spring, it will be so worth it. And then I'll be so happy for all of this mess. It's going to be worth it. It will be worth it. So, are any of you starting plants right now? Or are you in the waiting game? Yes, farming is definitely a humbling experience. A tip for perennials that need a lot of water, the huge metro in winter. Alright, that's the rest of your bed. Nice. Bob and weave from them punches. I'll remember that, darling. Yarrow and Dianthus. What is the secret to growing Dianthus? I've tried it twice. And the first year it just didn't grow. The second year it was about that tall. What am I doing wrong? I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I've given up on Dianthus. I feel like I can't grow it. I think it hates me. So I won't be growing that this year. I'm doing something wrong. Let me know what I'm doing wrong because I'm not sure. Aster, I still haven't given up on yet. I'm still going to try and grow it. Pile up in mulch and compost. Mulch and compost, so expensive around here. No one sells it by the dump truck load. You've got to buy it in the bags. Which, there's so many farmers around me, so it's just, like, where do you buy this? Surely, a pallet of black cow compost cost me about $500. A pallet, that's 60 bags, 60 cubic yards. That's a lot of money. And I'm saving a few bags because once we put the tulips in, we'll cover that with compost. But, oof. I'm going to give China Aster another try this year. It's not going to get a big section though. I am determined to grow China Aster. Do you hear me? It is so beautiful, so pretty. Last year was the first year I ever got it to actually bloom correctly, so maybe this year will be my year. Maybe this year I'll be able to successfully grow China Aster. We do have an Ace Hardware in Minden, which is a good 45 minutes. It's Pierce Lumber. It's not in Ruston.
It's not full-fledged Ace Hardware, no.
Yeah, it's like a little mini Ace Hardware, but they don't carry any dirt. Or just not steal that. But I'm getting what were you starting? I'm sorry. So got yarrow, stock. I'm really upping my stock game this year. They actually look good. I was kind of worried. When I first put them in, they looked like death. Like, they looked good at first, and then when I got them in the ground, I think it was just too hot that day. They all just kind of fell over, and I thought, oh dear, I just lost about 100 stock plants. But they perked right up. Thank goodness, because I had burned like 200 holes into the landscape fabric, and I was going to be devastated. Put it in, Andy, if you can't get stock to grow, put it in the refrigerator for like 3 weeks. Put the seeds in the refrigerator for 3 weeks on stock, and that'll get it to germinate. Last year I couldn't get it to do it, and I had to do that. You reach out to other farmers markets to help out with them? Probably. I'm just shy. I know I don't come across that shy, but I'm very shy when it comes to talking to people. How many seeds of a variety do you start at once? I'm really trying to rein that in this year. Right now, I'm starting about, depending on the plant and if I know I like it. So for stock, this is my second year growing it. Last year I only started about 2 varieties because I wasn't sure if I liked it. But now I like it, so I started about 10 different varieties. I did about 10 to 20 of each variety is what I did. I basically grabbed my available plug trays, counted how many I could start with all the varieties I wanted, and did that. And it's done great. I put it in the refrigerator for 3 weeks because last year I tried it just out of the seed packet and it didn't grow. So then I just threw the whole tray, stock and all, into the refrigerator, and I left it in the refrigerator for a week and brought it out, and it really germinated. So this year I left it in the refrigerator, the seeds itself, and it germinated just fine. And the stock plants look a lot better, except for when I transplanted them, and then they, tried to die on me, but they came back. But I'm excited, and stock is a one and done plant, so I'll be working on succession planting. That's another thing I'm working on this year, is learning how to successfully succession plant. The sun starts from the back and comes this way on my property. And I was starting plants trying to succession plant them going this way, going backwards. That doesn't work. So now I'm doing nice long rows that go with it. What exactly does that mean? What does what mean, Andy? Yes, I do. So far, I do like geoseed. The seeds have all germinated. Succession. Okay, so succession planting is when you go ahead and sunflowers, those are a great example. You'll go ahead and plant your sunflowers in one row, and then 2 weeks later you're going to plant another row of sunflower seeds, and then 2 weeks later you'll plant another row of sunflower seeds. So you're planting in spurts. Trying to start a flower farm. Oh, that's great, Rebecca. So that's what succession planting is you're starting in spurts to prolong your flowers. So things like sunflowers, stock, where you're only getting one bloom, you really need to succession plant so that you have flowers for longer in the season. I was able to do that pretty well with sunflowers last year. I had a few issues, crows, deer, that set me back on my sunflowers, and it really hurt me. So this year I'm going to plant them a lot closer together. Yes, you want one ready and then the next one ready and the next one. So stock will have one row that just blooms, boom, and then a couple weeks later the other one will bloom, boom. I need to incorporate my calendar with planting to help me stay on track. Girl, I have a spreadsheet with how my farm's supposed to be laid out. I've got dates. I don't go by any of them. I have this whole elaborate plan of how I'm going to do things, and then when it actually comes time to do it, I just throw it out the window. I would probably do way better if I actually kept up with it. One thing I am doing this year is I'm measuring. That's helping me be professional, because that's the thing this year, be more professional. I actually have straight rows. I'm going to do a secession planting of zinnias halfway in the season. Yes, Michelle, I'm going to be doing the same thing. I attempted unsuccessfully to do that last year, but I'm going to do that this year, because the zinnias, like you said, they start beautiful, but then about halfway through the season, they succumb to powdery mildew, bug damage, so it's nice to have that second planting that will carry you through the rest of your season. So things that are cut and coming in, you should secession plant as well, just, maybe a month or two after the first planting. That way, I feel like something's on me. Okay, nothing's on me. Me and those spiders, we don't get along very well. So, that's the deal. Yes, I did mow my zinnias down. They were horrible. They needed to be taken out. How do you know fall sowing is a good idea? I'm in zone 7A. It gets pretty cool. So, Rebecca, you can fall sow. Go on Amazon, or I have a link down in one of my video descriptions, probably not in this one, for an affiliate link, or just go on Amazon and find Cool Flowers by Lisa Mason Ziegler. It's going to change your life for flower farming, because you'll be able to start so many flowers. Lisa's actually in zone A, I think. She's in zone 7. So if she can start it, you definitely can start. She also has a channel called the Gardener's Workshop, and she goes over planting in the fall sowing. She goes in depth. It's great. I would definitely get it. Yes, technically my husband mowed it down. So there you go. If you go to the Gardener's Workshop, Lisa Mason Ziegler's workshop, and order the book, she'll sign the book for you. But she does a Facebook Live, I think, every Friday, and she talks about flower farming and stuff. Don't smile at me. You're distracting me.
I like it.
My husband's proud of me, because I was freaking out before this live. I was like, I'm going to vomit. I can't do this. But I'm doing good. I'm talking too fast and still nervous as all get out. But Lisa Mason Ziegler's book, she's in zone 7, so you're right in the area for her. This is a great live. Thank you, Nikki. So definitely buy her book, Rebecca. It's going to help you so much. I wish I would have bought it last year. I wish I wouldn't have been so stubborn. I read reviews on Amazon that said she doesn't tell you when to plant. She tells you when to plant. Those reviews were just bogus. So, game changer. It's also her fault why I'm so busy, because last year I had seeds that I'd bought in August, and I just sat around chilling, thinking I didn't need to plant anything. I could have had so many more flowers started. But at the same time, I had to wait on my retail florist license before I could sell flowers. So that held me up as well last year. So this year we'll be going full force. One of my plans to help get people back to remembering that, hey, I sell flowers, is I'll be doing a giveaway on my Facebook. So I'll do like a first tulip bouquet of the season giveaway. Yeah. And come down to the farmer's market, 10th person to buy a bouquet for me gets a free $20 gift certificate. Get people back to remembering, hey, I sell flowers. Hey, I'm back, better than ever. Spread the word. I had a florist I reached out to because she was selling a flower cooler, an 8-foot wide flower cooler. She was selling it, and I asked her how much it was, but it had already been sold. And I asked her, are you getting out of the flower? If you can hear the gunshots, I live in the South. Somebody's testing their gun, so don't let it alarm you. But I asked her, are you getting out of the flower business? Are you staying in the flower business? And she said she's staying in it. She's just moving locations. I said, well, hey, I'm a flower farmer. Can you please stop testing that gun? I'm a flower farmer here in Ruston. I'd love to work with you if you're interested. And she said, actually, I've heard from a friend who's bought flowers from you who really, really liked you and said a lot of good things about you. So, yes, I'm very interested when you have flowers. So, word's getting around. People know who I am. Actually, last year I got recognized at work. I was walking down the hallway and they were like, are you Jessie with Living on a Prairie Flower Farm? I was like, yeah! So that's pretty neat to be recognized. I told my husband one day I'm going to walk somewhere and someone's going to scream, former plant killer! I'm going to be like, yeah. made it. It's gonna happen one day. I'm just gonna keep growing flowers and growing the YouTube channel. It was pretty fun. I was like, see that? People know who I am. But in actuality, I'm just kind of like, what do I say? You know, you envision, I'm gonna get on YouTube, I'm gonna do all this stuff, and then when it comes time, you're just a nervous wreck. You talk too fast, you feel like you want to vomit. But you do it. You get through it. Flower farming's the same way. Been very overwhelmed, honestly, with all of this. I've got so much to start, so much to do, and I finally just had to tell myself, like I tell my son, just get started. Just do something. So I've been waking up at 7 a.m., getting out here at 7:30, and then I work until about 11, then I force myself to eat so I won't pass out, and then I get back out here and I work some more, and I finally sit down around 4 o'clock. And by that point, I'm good for nothing. But I feel good because I got something done. Getting this landscape fabric done that weekend and the tarp down felt so good to know, okay, one thing's done. We're moving forward. To get 50 yarrow plants into the ground. Okay, that's done. What's next? I got 100 or a couple hundred anemones into the ground. Okay, we're good to go. On a bright note, my expensive ranunculus that I bought from Jake did not mold, so I was able to put them in the ground. Okay, that's done. And I just keep moving forward, because if you stop, you're never going to get back up. The moment you sit down, you're exhausted. You're not going to get back up. And I tell you, my legs are killing me. They say, homegirl, you have never exercised in your life. And we feel it. Every squat that I'm doing. Oh my gosh, my kids make fun of me. My husband's making fun of me because I get, I'm like, oh, what's wrong? I hurt. I am old. My body's not used to getting up and down, up and down. I'm at a desk job all day. So all this squatting and digging is really wearing on me. Whew. So one fun thing is we have a golf cart. I'm going to turn it into the flower cart, and you can see the landscape fabric, and then there's black plastic between the landscape fabric rows. I made those long enough for the golf cart to go down between them. So I'm going to just drive the golf cart between the landscape fabric rows with buckets full of water. So instead of having to carry buckets of flowers with spiders in them down, carrying them all the way from back to the porch, we'll just drive the golf cart, because y'all, carrying those buckets of flowers doesn't bother me. It's what's in the bucket of flowers. There's so many spiders and critters in there. Critters don't really bug me that much as long as they're not on me, but spiders, well, y'all seen the videos. I can't handle it. So if I set it down, it's like, oh me, I'm a bucket of flowers everywhere, water everywhere. It's just a mess. I hate spiders. They're good for the garden. That's how I've been dealing with this fear. It really is. It's an irrational fear, and I know it. Spiders, majority of them can't hurt you. Most of them aren't going to bother you. But in my mind, it's irrational. it's a spider. I don't like it. It freaks me out. Honestly, just watching my video to edit it and seeing that spider, like the black widow or the big green one, it really got to me. I hated it. I just give me a snake. Snake, I can handle. My husband can't handle snakes, but I can handle snakes. I can wrangle them out of a four-wheeler. They don't bother me. But a little itty spider, I come unglued. Get them gangstered. Yeah, I'm gonna have the best looking legs around here. Oh, thank you so much, Lacey. In East Tennessee. Ooh, I want to go to Tennessee. Hey, Candace! Glad to have you here. I want to go to Tennessee. All in the mountains. I bet it's beautiful. We're just flat and humid. Very, very humid. I attempted to straighten my hair for you guys, and you can see it's already just kind of fluffing out. But I'm dealing with the flowers fear. I think I've gotten better. My poor daughter, I make her come out here, and she hates bugs just in general. I just watched Charlotte's Web several times. I don't care how friendly that spider is, it needs to die. It needs flamethrower. The only good thing about spiders is it eats bugs. It eats other bugs, and it's the only reason they're allowed to live in my garden. As long as they stay in the farm and don't come in the house, I'm good. God, I hate them things. And we have these giant wolf spiders. Like, there was one on my porch, and it makes these giant webs. And you don't see it till you walk into the freaking web. And it's just, oh, they're huge. They're like this big. You know, I used to want to go to Australia. I really wanted to go to Australia and visit it because it's beautiful. I love the way they talk. I want to talk like Australians. But then I saw the spiders. I ain't going to Australia anytime soon. Sorry if you live in Australia. Anyway, back to flower farming. We have those two in southern Indiana. Yeah, they're horrible. Hey, Highland Wilderness Stable and Tours. So, I really got to get my Canterbury, I think that's what they're called, bells. The little bell-shaped flowers that are pink, purple, and white. I ordered those from the Gardener's Workshop. I'm really hoping to start those soon and get them in the ground. They're a cool flower. I need to read the book again and see what all they need. And then I've got those star-shaped ping pong scabiosa. You know, the like ball-shaped scabiosa, and it's like tan. Nicole on Flower Hill Farm grew a lot of them this past year, and I really liked them. They were very pretty. I think they're called ping pong or something like that on Gardener's Workshop. So I bought those from her. I'm growing a lot of different Nigeria seeds this year. I'm tempted to start them in the house, and I'm also tempted to just throw them out in the bulb area. Because last year, you know, after I'd given up on growing them, they grew on their own. What did you think of the La Bamba? I loved the purple La Bamba. Oh, I'd never seen that flower before. And I couldn't even remember when I was growing it what it was. And it was beautiful. I'm growing more of it. I've seen a darker, almost this color Bamba plant. I want to find the seeds for it and grow it too. It lasted forever in the vase. The bees, oh man, the bees loved it. And it was just plentiful. Not to mention it made some excellent B-roll for the YouTube channel. So I'm definitely growing more of that. I need to get it started. There's so many seeds to start, so much to do. And I still have my Halloween decorations up. My son decorated for Halloween this year because I haven't had time. Flower farming costs time and money, especially when I'm working a full-time job. Yeah, La Bamba. Ooh. What else do I need to get started? Bachelor buttons. Gotta get those. A lot of plants. I got my Rebecca in the ground. You've been decorating for Christmas today. I need to get my Christmas tree up too. So, vegetables. You can hear my husband now. Okay. I'm a plant killer. It took me being on drugs. I was on painkillers from a surgery before I decided to grow flowers. And I still refuse to grow vegetables. I've tried to grow them. I've tried to grow watermelon. I've tried to grow squash. I can't do it. I don't have a desire to. I hate vegetables. I hate to say that, but I hate vegetables. I hate tomatoes. I am not a tomato-based life form. I really hate tomatoes. I don't like cucumbers. Straw flowers, I'll get to that in just a moment. But vegetables, I don't grow any vegetables, guys. My husband, I tried to grow pumpkins. That was a huge fail. My husband wishes I would grow vegetables because he loves vegetables. He loves beans, and he'll watch Serena and Ian with me. He's like, "Why won't you grow vegetables?" I'm like, "Flowers make me more money, and they're just easier to me to grow." I get so frustrated because there's bugs that eat the vegetables. I guess they eat the flowers too, but I just straw flowers. I did grow straw flowers back in 2020. I grew them. They got about 2 months old, and then they promptly died. They were doing great. They were about yay tall, and I was super excited, and then they wilted and died. Like overnight. I don't know if a bug got them, if they got some kind of disease, but that happened, and I just mentally haven't recovered from it. And they're not my favorite flower. I like the fact that they make a great dried flower, and that you could use them for wreaths and dried flower arrangements, but I can't bring myself to grow them. I keep saying I'm going to do more dried flower things with the gomphrena, stuff like that, but I just don't have space. They don't like a lot of water. I stink at watering plants. It wasn't a watering issue. I wish it was a watering issue. We did find, I think it was some larkspur that I tried to grow this year, where it just wilted and died. I think some bugs ate the roots. How did you do in the Jewels of Opar? Oh, so the Jewels of Opar they did fantastic. I hated them. They grew like no other, and they were beautiful pink blooms, and then they gave way to these gorgeous berries that got everywhere. They dirtied up the water too much in the vase life, and they got everywhere. So my husband, he loved them. They add visual interest into the flower arrangements, but I hated the berries everywhere. So even though they did great, I won't be growing them again. I've actually got seed. Maybe I'll do a seed giveaway, buy some Jewels of Opar to give away for y'all, because they were pretty. I was able to grow them. I didn't like those berries everywhere. They dirtied up the water in the buckets, so I was having to change them out twice as much. So I really don't like it. They don't like it hot. Maybe that was the issue, because it was June. Straw flowers, I was trying to grow them in June when they just wilted and died on me. Maybe that was the issue, because it gets really hot here. Hot and humid. The humidity makes it 10 times hotter. I feel like you're breathing in water. Could be a fish. So, no straw flowers. Oh, please. They were beautiful. I was happy to mow them down. I really was impressed with the Chinese forget-me-nots. The issue with the Chinese forget-me-nots was half of them would wilt and half of them wouldn't. I'm not sure why. I harvested them at about this time at night, where it's starting to get kind of dusky, twilight. But half of them would wilt, half of them wouldn't. But I really liked the Chinese forget-me-nots. I'll definitely be starting them. Those are a cool flower. So they started off super short too, and I was worried. I thought, oh no, they're not going to grow very good. What does well for you in humid heat besides zinnias? That's a good question. The gomphrena did really well in the hot, humid air. It took over. Have you ever seen the movie The Blob? That's what my gomphrena did. It just oozed everywhere. And I got where I actually kind of hated it. I hated harvesting it because I just couldn't control the beast. I even had another flower farmer come to the farm and harvest off of it to try and tame that thing back. So gomphrena does very well in hot, humid weather. What else does good? Rudbeckia does well. It grows wild here. We call them black-eyed Susans. They grow very well here. Daffodils grow here. They spread naturally. I'm trying to think, is there anything else that just grew fantastic? The zinnias, really. We're able to grow snapdragons. Lesson on that. I can grow them technically all year round, But I found starting them in the summer is a big no-no. They need to be started either now, early spring, or late, like Octoberish, where it's not too hot. They'll bloom during the summer if you have the right ones, but just getting them to start as a seedling in the summer doesn't go well. For those of you who don't know, there's different groups of snapdragons. You've got your cool season, which are the Chantilly and the Costas. That will bloom in early spring, which is what I've got going around now. And then you have your summer-loving, heat-loving zinnias. If it weren't for the bugs, it's amaranth, yeah. Amaranth would have done great, but the flea beetles just attacked them. I'll get on that in just a minute. The snapdragons, the Potomac mix, do really well in the summer. Are you going to torture yourself again trying Dianthus? I've never tried Dianthus. I bought seeds for Dianthus when I first got into flower farming because I didn't know it was hard to grow. And after watching Nicole struggle with hers, I decided, I will not be growing Dianthus. Dianthus kind of goes on my Dusty Miller list and my foxglove list of it takes too long. I'm gonna give Dusty Miller one more chance, but if it takes over 100 days for a little seedling, odds are I'm gonna kill it. I need easy to grow flowers. I need something that it's okay if it gets a little root bound. It's okay if it gets a little too soggy. It's okay if it goes through drought. Dianthus just takes too long. What about the glads? Okay, let me talk about amaranth and then I'll get to the glads. So amaranth looks beautiful and it thrives. It and Celosa. Celosa does well in our hot, humid weather. But amaranth is a good friend and attractant for flea beetles. Oh my goodness at the flea beetles. They just swarmed my amaranth. I feel like I need one thing of amaranth for the flea beetles to eat and then another section to be safe from the flea beetles. Because even spraying, which I hate to do, couldn't keep the flea beetles in control. I even, I had race wing bugs that I ordered to try and eat these suckers and they were just horrible. But I love amaranth. I won't give up on that. I may have to create a greenhouse or something. Glads do well here. They multiply. I had a lady who called me and asked me, I think the video is called Last Frost and Anne's Glads, where I went and dug up glads from a lady because squirrels were taking her glad bulbs and just sticking them randomly in her yard, and they were just multiplying everywhere. I had thrips or some kind of bug damage on my glads, so most of them turned out okay. But some of them, the darker colored glads, had white show up on them, I guess, from the bug damage. But I ordered a couple of hundred of fancy glads from Jake that I'm super excited for this year. They're ruffles. I'm so excited to have ruffles. Triggers real bad. Oh yeah, we've got those. Are they red bugs? We call them red bugs. Chiggers, they're little tiny red bugs that itch really bad and they get into your skin and you have to take a bleach bath. I haven't seen those here, thank goodness, but you're right, they are horrible. Ugh. I thought that all of your struggles you did very well. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Try my best to remember that everything that goes wrong, to share it so that y'all can learn from it and hopefully not make the same harebrained mistakes I make. Alright, we're getting to an hour. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get off. Thank you so much for spending this live with me. I had way more people than I thought I would, and I think my supper's ready. So, thank you guys for sticking with me. Always encouraging me. Y'all are truly just the best. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.